So what would cause a weakening in the production of hydrochloric acid? Drinking with the meals. You see, digestion is a chemical process, and that whole reaction I just showed you only happens in an acid environment. If people are drinking with their meals, it waters down the acid so you don't get that connection. And it's an American habit, isn't it? Certainly an Australian habit. Michael and I go to a restaurant and the waiter, what's the first thing he asks? What will you drink? No, we won't have anything to drink. Oh, we'll just bring you water. Now, if we say no, thank you, every waiter in the restaurant is coming to us. You don't have water? We let them put the water there. Okay, it just keeps them quiet. I think it's because people are so busy, they've got no time and they sit to eat. Oh, I haven't drunk. And then they drank water. And a lot of people think they just wash the food down. Wash the food down, they basically wash all their digestive enzymes away. We should be stopping water ideally half an hour before the meal, resume about an hour and a half after the meal. That hour and a half allows time for those digestive enzymes to start their breakdown. If someone's thirsty after a meal, by all means have a mouthful. But large fluid with the meal will water it down.
Meet Dr. Barbara O'Neill. She is an Australian alternative healthcare advocate and globally recognized naturopath. Her journey into holistic health began when she successfully treated her son's illness using natural remedies, igniting a lifelong passion for empowering others through natural healing. Despite facing bans due to her criticism of conventional medicine, her approaches, backed by modern science, continue to transform lives. She has written numerous books. One of her most popular books is Self-Heal by Design, inspiring countless individuals to embrace a more natural path to wellness.
Also, when people are eating every couple of hours, you see, we have one stomach. And that stomach, there's much research to prove this, that one stomach takes 3 to 4 hours to digest. And then that stomach loves a 1 hour rest. So what's that between meals? That's 5 to 6 hours between. Surely not for children. Do you know they've got the same digestive tract? And you might have noticed, I worked out very early, children say they're hungry when they're bored. Have you noticed? And often, when a hunger pang is experienced between meals, it's often dehydration. One day my son Peter came to me and said, Mum, the water's not doing it anymore. I looked at my watch and said, great, it's lunchtime. When the water's not doing it anymore, it usually is time. It is time to eat. Also, what exhausts the hydrochloric acid is eating large amounts at the end of the day. See, when we go to sleep at night, our stomach wants to sleep too. So if there's a huge meal in there, you know, everything slows down. This digestion's going to be very slow.
Hydrochloric acid is crucial for digestion, as it breaks down food and activates enzymes in the stomach. When its production is weakened, digestion becomes less efficient, leading to potential issues such as bloating, indigestion, and nutrient deficiencies. Besides drinking with meals, several other factors can also contribute to a decrease in hydrochloric acid production. Aging is one such factor. As we get older, our bodies naturally produce less stomach acid. Stress can also play a significant role as it diverts energy away from the digestive system, impacting acid production. Additionally, certain medications such as antacids and proton pump inhibitors can reduce stomach acid levels over time.
But you can see if stomach is not acid enough and pepsin can't break down protein, then protein comes into the duodenum, and trypsin and chymotrypsin, they just start the breakdown, and they should be finalizing the breakdown. At every stage, every organ's role is very important. And if the person ate too fast and didn't give time for the ptyalin to begin starch digestion, and undigested starch gets to the pancreas, pancreatic amylase starts the breakdown, whereas it should be finishing it. Most of your nutrients are absorbed before you get halfway through the small intestine. So from the last part of the small intestine, it's really just roughage. And when the contents of the small intestine gets into the large colon, it's usually mostly liquid. But let's go back to where the food's absorbed, which I call the grand finale of digestion. The small intestine is lined with villi that look like this. And as I showed this morning, that villi should have a thick turf wall. And that thick turf wall around it is made out of mostly Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium. There are trillions of microbes in there, but they're the two main ones, and from them most of them are made. And these bacteria is responsible for the final breakdown, the final touches of digestion. They're particularly important for the release of the B vitamins. That bacteria is also important for the absorption of your nutrients across and into the blood. And of course this villi has capillary networks all through it. That thick turf wall, those microbes, are responsible for protecting the blood, wrong colour, protecting the blood against harmful pathogens that might be in the gut. And those microbes are responsible for nourishing the cells that line the gastrointestinal tract. No wonder I call it the grand finale of digestion. How do you know if the gut's working right? Let me give you a story of a man that came to our health retreat with his wife. He was 68, his wife was 67. I said, "What is your reason for coming to our retreat?" He said, "I'm here to accompany my wife." I said, "Right." I said, "How many bowel movements do you average a day?" Because I did a health assessment on him. He said 6. I said, "Oh, that's a lot." He said, "Yes, I've got irritable bowel." I said, "Oh, are you on medication?" "Yes," and he listed the anti-inflammatories and the cortisones. He said, "Yes, recently the doctor said I can do no more for you." I said, "Oh." And then I looked at what he ate. He loved bread, he loved meat, he loved dairy, and he loved sugar, and he loved a couple of scotches every night. You see, when you're healing an irritated gut, this is what you've got to do. Number 1, stop all the irritants. What are the irritants? Wheat, dairy, in fact all the things he was having. Refined sugar, alcohol. All of these foods are like kerosene to a fire to an irritated gut. And he was having lots of them. Number 2, probiotic. Probiotic is for life. And that cortisone that he was on, it can break down that gut flora. The very thing he was taking to supposedly heal him, it wasn't at all. All it does is stop the gut being inflamed. And on all that medication he's going 6 times a day. And number 3, there is a herb called slippery elm, and slippery elm coats, soothes and heals the lining of the gut. That will work for gastritis, ulcerative gastritis, irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, colitis. It will heal them all.
A healthy gut is essential for overall well-being, and maintaining it is simpler than you might think. Start by eating more fiber-rich foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, as these help food move through your digestive system and feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Including probiotics found in yogurt, kefir, and fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut, can further boost the balance of good bacteria. Staying hydrated is equally important, as water aids digestion and keeps things running smoothly. Limiting sugar intake is crucial since excess sugar can feed harmful bacteria and disrupt the gut's balance. Managing stress through practices like meditation, deep breathing, or yoga can also protect your gut health, as stress often negatively impacts digestion. Chewing your food thoroughly helps your stomach break it down more efficiently, and getting enough sleep allows your gut to repair and maintain itself. Regular exercise not only supports overall health, but also improves gut motility and balance.
What this colon needs, and we looked at that a little bit today, it needs fibre. Your vegetables are your highest fibre food. Vegetables are high in fibre, high in minerals, low in sugars. Whereas fruit is high in fibre, but it's high in sugars and low in minerals, so your healing foods are more your vegetable foods. One of the main functions of the colon is to take water out, so stools are formed. So it's very important to drink adequate water, so your colon doesn't have to take too much water out to form the stools. So what happens if a person is only going once a day? How can they encourage their colon to go more? Choose a high fibre diet, make sure they're well hydrated, make sure they're exercising. What if they're doing all of that and they're still only going once a week? And I've met some people that are. Or usually when they start that, they'll start going at least 3 times a week. The cells in our body develop habits, and often the colon has developed a habit, so it's actually, even though you're doing everything right, it's in the habit of not going. So there are herbs that'll revive colon function, and the herb tea mix that we are serving you, we call it colon tea, because these herbs specifically, directly affect the function of the colon. And this is the recipe: 1 part cascara, 2 part licorice, and 3 part buckthorn. Licorice is a root, and buckthorn and cascara are barks. So they all need a gentle simmer. So of that mix, you mix it together in a jar, and the recipe is 1 teaspoon of these herbs to 1 cup of water. And then there is a gentle simmer, and you would simmer them for say 10 minutes. And the dose is, most people, 1 cup a night will do. If a person's a bit more frequent, half a cup at night. Only in about 3 cases have I ever met people that would need 3 cups a day. But not forever. These herbs, if continually taking, it gets to the point where you have to take less and less and less. Your body's guide basically is your body's response. Or your guide is your body's response. This is the only tea that I know that acts like a laxative, but it's not addictive, because eventually you'll go so much you won't need to take it. Again, at the same time, you've got to eat the fibre, be well hydrated, have most of your food at breakfast and lunch, eat lightly at night. Another important point is the proper position when you sit on the throne to evacuate, to allow this red muscle is called puborectalis. And puborectalis is there to prevent us being incontinent with our colon. And I'll recap what I went through this morning for the sake of the film, and also repetition deepens the impression. So when a person is sitting on the throne like this, puborectalis remains firm, so it's holding still up the colon. But if someone has a little stool, or maybe they've paid the money from Bed Bath and Beyond and got a squatty potty, so now they are mimicking the squatting position. And when the knees are up like this, mimicking the squatting position, that causes puborectalis to relax. And when puborectalis relaxes, then the colon opens and the contents is able to be released with ease. It takes a lot of pressure off the anus, which means it can prevent hemorrhoids and it can even contribute to the healing of hemorrhoids.
Buckthorn, licorice, cascara tea, and slippery elm are traditional remedies known for their gut healing properties. Buckthorn and cascara tea are often used as gentle natural laxatives that help relieve constipation by stimulating bowel movements and promoting a clean digestive tract. Licorice, particularly in its deglycerinated DGL form, soothes the stomach lining and reduces inflammation, which can help with issues like heartburn, ulcers, and indigestion. Slippery elm, a mucilaginous herb, coats the digestive tract with a soothing layer, reducing irritation and supporting healing in conditions like acid reflux, gastritis, or irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. For bowel movements, adopting a squatting-like position, achieved by elevating your feet on a stool while sitting on the toilet, aligns the rectum more naturally, making elimination easier and reducing strain. Combined with a healthy diet and mindful eating habits, these lifestyle adjustments can significantly improve gut health and overall digestive function.